Welcome back, guys. It is now Monday and I'm shooting this a little early here because the heat wave is supposed to be coming. Also, I was thinking the first thing I was going to say is I'm receiving emails from a number of companies giving me a heads up. I guess July 6th, the tariffs are going to go into place, and a lot of tooling and things out of China are going to be going up 25%. So I was going to give you a heads up, but by the time you see this video on a Friday, it's already past July 6th. Yeah, an SCLR tool holder, indexable holder is going to be going up 25%, so Grizzly was warning me buy it now otherwise. So alright, so this video is going to be the final on the mill. Finally have a mill going, but first I'll take you over to the bench here behind me and show you an estate sale find, maybe make you guys a little jealous. Alright, estate sale find. I have no idea who this guy was, where he got everything from, but 2-car garage, every wall to wall, floor to ceiling, drawers about like that. And all of them full, all of them labeled. It was just incredible. I opened up, you just start walking around and opening up drawers. Open up one, it says keys, it's keyways. He had every possible keyway there was. The regular rectangular ones, the key set ones. Oh, it was nuts. But this, looking around, he's got like 5 of these boxes. I don't know why I was interested in it. $1. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I'll put something in it or whatever. Next up, I'm opening up the drawers, and lo and behold, bearings. He had every kind of possible bearing there was, all the sizes. I mean, it went from huge car stuff, truck stuff, all the way down. So I pulled out the smallest drawer and brought it over to the guy. Said, how much? He goes, $5. So I dumped the whole contents of the drawer into a bag, and so I've got a nice assortment here of bearings. Most of them were still in the original packaging. This looks like it still has some cleanup to do. The wax paper is still stuck to some of them, but so now I got a nice assortment of bearings. And then last up, sitting in a junk pile, I couldn't believe, is this guy, and completely covered in rust. And I know the guy that's running the sale has no clue what this is, because I hold it up to him and he looks at it all rusted up and he goes, what is it? And I said $2, and he goes, okay. So good quality. All you do is put oil on it and wipe it down. All the rust comes right off. Slight pitting in here, but I have a nice indicator now, heavy duty. Wish this was a stock size, because I'd replace this with stainless steel and short. But remember, I always had problems with it tilting because of the weight of a test indicator. Well, that's not going to happen with this. Unfortunately, initials are on it, AJH, and he did a really good job of doing it too. Lapped this a little bit. I mean, it's perfect. Anybody know what these purpose of these pins are for? I couldn't really find anything on it, so if you know, please leave a comment. These are real loose, so they're not, they've got a spring thing in here, a wire clip or whatever, but they're not going to hold this thing up. You put it down and they're just moving. So I don't know what they're for, but that was my great find for the day. All right, for the next stuff, I'm going to show a little bit more of what's been done mounting up the scales. And then at the very end, I'll show the final mill and the blu-DRO. I did go, and I'm very happy with the blu-DRO and how it came out. And my hat's off to, I hope I pronounce his name right, Yuriy. I asked my wife, she said the same thing, Yuriy, and really hope I can get in touch with him directly to pick his brain as I write the user manual for this, because as I said, I'm finding how to do things scattered all over the internet. There's some videos, there's some text, there's a lot of different things, so I'm trying to bring it all together. The blu-DRO, yeah, it kind of priced out, because you go and get the scales. The 12-inch scale is $44. The 24-inch is $55. Then you got to get the blu-DRO unit, which I'll show is $125, and then I had to buy a $135 tablet to be able to do this. So it came in at $414. You guys want to go up to the next level of maybe saying incredible. I really love what it can do. So first I'm going to show a little bit of the Z work that I did, and then I'm going to show Y-axis work. And you'll see in the clip that I had some problems. Dial indicator wasn't showing things right, and I figured out, I caught it, the gibs were loose. So the table was cocking as I went in and out. It'd go one way and then the other. And then at the very end here, I'll show the final product, give you a walk around on it, and I'll show some of the functions of the DRO. So I hope you guys, oh yeah, I would like to thank Al at blu-DRO. He did help me out with one particular problem, which I've already passed on to somebody who left a comment on the last video. As you saw with the EZ-Views, the half thou, the 5, randomly came on and off. And there was a solution with swapping the heads. When you get the blu-DRO and you turn on the display so that it's reading the 1/10 of a thousandth, they're just flying. They just do not settle down. So it's even worse. And Al told me it's a power pack issue. The one that they ship with it causes that. So if you go and get a power pack, a wall pack that's got a transformer in it, then it's rock solid. So my 1/10ths now are absolutely rock solid. All right, so on with the video. All right, I know the lighting isn't that great here, but this is the Z-axis. You just launch the app. Okay, there we go, perfect. All right, so it's connecting. You can see up here to the Bluetooth. Why it's taking so long. Let me make sure power is on. Oh, it's not on. I got a plug problem here I gotta fix. Okay. So now it's connected. All right, good. So if I say zero everything out and move the Z down, okay, it's moving. Hey, all right, put it on zero. Zero it all out. You can hit that and zero out just that axis, which is nice. Or you can hit zero set and it zeroes everything out. So there's zero, and if I go to 10 thousandths, 10, 20, I gotta kind of angle myself here to see it, but 50 thousandths, so it seems like it's really working pretty good. There's 50. This would be 100 thousandths. So I'm pretty happy with this axis and what it's doing. You can change the display. Actually, I haven't played with it here. Let me change it out to 1/10, or yeah, 1/10. I want 12. I want this guy. All right, up here, settings, and read out the font, display format. Here, we go to that one. Go back. Are the digits bouncing? Oh, they're pretty solid. Nah, they're bouncing a little bit. But yeah, switching to this other power pack, otherwise all three of them were just constantly moving. 4/10. Let's go up a half. What does it do? There's a half. 8, nice. So it's reading it, huh? I go all the way back down to 0. Well, let's stop on 50 and see what happens. 8. Go down a half. There's a half. Huh. Wow. Pretty cool. When else I go to 0? Because I learned before that if you don't 0 it right. Yeah, see, it's 8. All right, 0 it. Now let's go up a half. Come on, dial, move. Too much play in this thing. There's a half, a little over a half thou. Here's 1. Yeah, I am about 1.2. Try 10. So I'm pretty happy with this guy, but I am going to stay with just 3 digits. I don't need these tenths in here. Pink. Settings. And again, more fights too. There's a bubble underneath the screen here, and there's a bubble dead center. Read out display format. And go back to that guy. And back. Oop, back. So, not too bad. I'm thrilled with it. Okay, the most difficult y-axis because of the angle here on the side. Couldn't use my homemade aluminum mounts because the sides had a weird angle and it was tweaking the scale. So I had to use the black supplied mounts that they give with it. Let's see if I can angle this because I'm trying to stand in the light. Yeah, it's like I'm going to have to go back and forth to read this gauge here and set it. Actually, I think I can read it from a distance. Let me see here. I can at least hit 0, huh? Come on, hit. Where are you? Jeez, am I that far away? Yeah, I'm a mile away here. Crank it a bunch to get in there. Alright, should hit now any second. Come on. There you go. Alright, so I'm on 0. So 0 out the axis. And I gotta move so I can actually see the 10. Move it into 10. And there it is, 10. So it look, oh, I guess I can stay out, huh? Alright, 20. 20, beautiful. Let's go up to 50. 50, right on it. So I think I have that stable. So I got Z, X, and Y. But again, all of these little blocks that I made here, I can't use. So I did, in the last video I showed the technique of tweaking the mounts for the Z axis. I had to do the same thing here on the Y so that everything was straight, and then the only thing I did was just dial indicate the top of it so that it wasn't tilted one way or another, and so it's within a quarter of a thousandth, and it looks pretty good here. I can go back to 0, huh? Should go right back. There it is, 0. Oh, showing -4. Not good. Why is it doing that? Go back to 0. Did I go too fast? 0 at all. Go up to 50. So I may have something still loose. 55. Yeah, so now, here we go. And if I grab this thing, can I move it? Yeah. So something's still not that great with it. Luck first time. So I'm going to be playing with it. Yeah, 0 goes right back to 0. Go to 50. There's 50. 55. Interesting, whatever's happening. How do you go? Oh, what do I have for the settings? Forgot. Settings. So for, it was kind of interesting, the CPI. I measured it the way it was shown, and I come up 2562, but the table that I found where they did it all says 2560 CPI for that 60, cancel, go up to Z CPI 60. So I've got them all set for what they say it's supposed to be, but yet I'm still, come on, go back. Oh, wrong place to push. I don't get why it's doing that. It goes to 0. Let's try 10. 14. So, I don't know. It's nuts now all of a sudden. Oh well, I have to play with a lot. Well, after weeks and weeks worth of work, I finally have a mill that I can use, and I actually did some playing around on it. So if you got a mill, what you gotta do, because it isn't a mill right out of the box. The first video I did on this, I showed completely taking it apart, what you got to do to rework it, to get the gibs right, get everything functioning right. The second video was the belt drive upgrade, which I showed how to do and what you get and stuff, so that works nice. Added leather to the motor to keep the noise down even further on the mill. The next video was the constant force piston upgrade. In that video, I showed that I had bought 2 20-pound pistons off of Amazon, which for some reason my old mill was 20 pounds, so 20 pounds should have worked on this, but it was too much force. And I did check them because I had taken it apart. I did check them with some barbell weights, and it was an excessive amount of force. So I bought 2 10-pounders, and now it works beautifully. So there's 2 10-pound pistons in there. The next video, I started showing where I was with this DRO upgrade. So this is the final. I finally have it all working, so I'm going to talk about that. What else was done to the mill? I mean, built this guy's spindle lock, missing knob was made, handles are all made for it. Leather is just put in there. You go to a thrift store, Goodwill, pick up an old skirt is what this was, take it apart, and you've got your splash things. So on the DRO upgrade, by what you're going to deal with or have to contend with, Taylor Tool Works, I'll put a link to them in the description. Great place, best price to get. You can buy the iGage EZ-View DRO Plus from them. When you get it, you gotta first of all deal with the actual scale itself. You want to make sure it's not bowed. That was one issue. The second thing is the mounts, the actual brackets, and I'll move the camera around here at the end, and so you can see all the different pieces to the mill, and you can easily freeze the video if you want to study something. So the mounting brackets that come with it are not square, they're not straight. You can use them, and in the last video I show how you gotta kind of tweak things to get rid of the force. I've said in many videos, any force on the scale sensors, you won't get a good reading. It will be off. So you can either use those and try to get them straight and squared up, or you can make your own, and I'll show mine. I've got mine on the x-axis and I've got mine on the z-axis, but down here, because the casting is not only at an angle somewhere between 3 and 4 degrees that I could figure out, but it's also angled this way. So if you put your own, you made your own mounts, you're going to be tweaking it that way and bending the scale. So I had no choice but to use the supplied, those little black brackets, and then tweak it to get everything nice and straight. The other problem was, I think I showed in the last video, that I just sacrificed a thickness gauge set so I could get really nice, and you'll see that when I go around, because the brass shimstock just didn't work, and this worked really nice. So what else then? So that's what you got to deal with if you want to do the upgrade. and so that's where you get them, is the Taylor Tool Works. This, because I didn't like the heads, the mounts that they had, the actual EZ-View heads were too big. I couldn't put them up here. I bought a steel plate to put them here, but I just got tired of dealing with multiple times you had to press the buttons to get it to register. To me, as an engineer, I want the machine to work for me. If I keep having to press a button, I'm starting to work for the machine. So that's why I went to this blu-DRO, and I'll put a link to it in the description. And the app is free, touchdro. Works great. Like I said, I'm starting to work on the manual for it. So this guy is really nice. I've had dial indicators all over the place and repeatedly moving every axis to make sure things are correct. So zero it out. You can see, you know, Z is right there, X and Y. I did some of the functions that are in here, like finding, if you want to find center, right here, the half mark. So you can find an edge, find the other edge, hit half, boom, you zip it down. I can actually probably do it. I'm zeroed out. So what am I on then? Close that. Let's go X-axis. Come on, close. So X-axis is zeroed out. So if I hit it and I move 100 thousandths, whoops, too far. It should show me 50 thousandths as the center mark. 1, 0, half. There it is, 50 thousandths. So now if I move to 0, 2, 1, 0, I'm at the center of whatever was in there. Close. And you can see it's zeroed out. So that's a great function. The whole function, I played with it. Said I want a hole pattern. I want 8 holes, ½ inch radius. Beautiful. It was easy to do. Let's see, if you assume you're on center right now, zero everything out. You do the hole pattern and you say 0.5 radius up there, next. Number of holes 8, next. And you just leave the rest at zeros. So create circle, boom, circles in my workspace. Hit over here, and you say preview workspace. There's my hole pattern, and you just start moving to the holes. You can see it counting down. So you just move to the first hole, drill it, and then you start moving to the second hole. The display automatically realizes that you're going for that target. So the numbers will start representing how close you are to that. And so you can do the hole pattern. How do you get out of this? I guess you just hit that. So there's that, and you can go into here and you can say clear points. Boom. Yep, clear them all out. Boom, gone. You can do multiple workspaces, which is like a memory thing where I could have had that whole pattern in another workspace, and then I can go back to another workspace and start drilling and doing some milling and stuff. And then when I want the whole pattern, you go to the whole pattern workspace, and it automatically will tell you where you got to move to start doing that. So blu-DRO, I think it's great. The IGage stuff I think is great. Not, like I said, not too thrilled with the heads, but so let me take the camera loose here and kind of go around the mill so you can see this stuff. Here, not loose, there we go. So there's the motor, upgrade, all of that, the knobs, the spindle lock, all the stuff I went through to get a nice ER32 collet. And on the back is the blu-DRO. It's simply Velcroed back there. Spanner wrench. There's a hole that's already there, so I just machined something and hammered it in there so it sits. Okay, yeah, here's the mount for the X-axis. And what else? We want to come over to this side, I guess. Mount for the Z-axis. Probably not that much light here, but... And there's the feeler gauge that I put on there. Bottom mount. And then here's underneath So you can kind of see what that looks like, the feeler gauge. And that one's tough, but you can bend that thickness gauge just right so that you don't have, again, any force at all. So that's kind of the whole mill, and I hope everybody